The temper tantrums continue in the WNBA dump. Not only is the diva of dump divas Cat Engelbert rightfully refusing to give in to the unreasonable demands of WNBA players, 99% of which have no ability to generate enough profit to justify the exorbitant salaries they're currently demanding. Now we have Adam Silver, better known in the WNBA as their primary subsidizer, or as some players prefer to call him, Sugar Daddy. Now we have Adam Silver going on the Today Show on NBC and essentially telling WNBA players, you can't always get what you want. 20 years ago, Kenny Chesney released a song called A Lot of Things Different. Now, Uncle KC has never really liked country music, but there are a select few that I can tolerate. I like Garth Brooks, and I like Ken Chesney before he decided that he was the pretend son of Jimmy Buffett. There's only one Jimmy Buffett, and Ken Chesney damn sure ain't close. But 20 years ago, before he decided to emulate Jim, Ken Chesney released a song called A Lot of Things Different. The song is about a man who is reflecting. He's looking back at his life and thinking about the mistakes that he made, thinking about all the things that he wishes he would have done differently. Hence the title of the song, A Lot of Things Different. In the second verse of the song, he's talking about regrets, mistakes that he made as a young adult, a young man, not spending enough time with his dad, refusing to go to church on Sunday morning when Granny was begging him to go. Towards the end of the second verse, there's a line that perfectly illustrates what's happening right now in the WNBA. Ken Chesney says, I wish I would have listened when they said, boy, you're gonna wish you hadn't, but I wouldn't. KC, that's the wrong pronoun. There are no boys in the WNBA. Yeah. Debatable pronouns aside, the point is, both Cat Engelbert and Adam Silver, they are trying to get WNBA players to understand reason. They're trying to get WNBA players to understand logic. They're even trying to achieve the impossible by attempting to get WNBA players to understand business. Cat Engelbert and Adam Silver, they're like loving parents trying to give their children direction. And like children do, WNBA players are throwing a temper tantrum. You're not giving me what I want, so I'm going to pout. WNBA players are accusing them of being greedy. The WNBA Players Union sent a tweet yesterday questioning why Adam Silver is refusing to share revenue with players. Come on, Adam, sharing is caring. What WNBA players can't seem to understand, Cathy, Engelbert, and Adam Silver, they are trying to ensure that the league doesn't go bankrupt. They are trying to ensure that WNBA players have a league to pretend to play basketball in. And like the man in the Ken Chesney song, WNBA players are refusing to listen. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. So going to get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Farewell's Fine Woodworking. Believe it or not, Christmas right around the corner. While it's somewhat easy to buy gifts for the kids as you get older, you realize it gets harder to find good gifts for adults. In my experience, the best gifts for adults are often the gifts that are given with thought. And what could be more thoughtful than one-of-a-kind, handcrafted kitchenwares from Farewell's Fine Woodworking? This is a family-owned business where each cutting and charcuterie board are handmade and they're built to last for generations. It's good stuff, good stuff. You know Uncle KC is not going to sell you garbage. Unlike plastic boards, which can release microplastics into your food, boards from Farewell's Fine Woodworking, they are made from natural hardwood, finished with non-toxic oils and board butter that protect and nourish the wood. And they are 100% safe for your food. No chemicals, no plastics, just the beauty of real wood made safe for your family and your kitchen table. Choose craftsmanship, choose health, and choose something that is handmade, not made by a machine, by clicking the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL10, BTL10. Receive 10% off your first purchase with Farewell's Fine Woodworking. Yesterday morning, Adam Silver was on the Today Show on NBC. He was there to promote the NBA and their new partnership with the network, which, by the way, you could not ask for a better start to the NBA regular season. Rockets Thunder last night, instant classic. But more importantly, after decades of incompetence, after decades of substandard coverage at the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN, the NBA finally has a major broadcast partner who actually knows how to cover the league. I know there were some technical issues with the pregame show last night, but the in-game broadcast on NBC, I thought it was phenomenal. It was significantly better than the garbage that we get from ESPN. But anyway, Adam Silver, he's on the Today Show to discuss the NBA. The dude who was interviewing him, who looks nothing like Matt Lauer, well, Casey, Matt Lauer was fired from the Today Show almost 10 years ago. Yeah, that's probably the last time I've heard anything about the Today Show. Outside of Matt Lauer and Katie Couric, I have no idea who's on this morning dump. Do they still have that lady who's missing a vowel in her last name? Yoda Kotb? Whatever the hell her name is. She needs to get with Vanna White and buy a vowel. But the young man who was interviewing Adam Silver, who was there to talk about the NBA, he instead asked Adam Silver about the WNBA. He wants to know if Adam Silver is going to give in to the unreasonable demands of WNBA players and give them revenue sharing. Listen very closely to Adam Silver's response. Watch for yourself.
They get 9% of total revenue compared to roughly 50% of the revenue of NBA players. Should they be getting a larger share of the revenue in the WNBA?
Yes. I mean, I think the share isn't the right way to look at it because there's so much more revenue in the NBA. I think you should look at it in absolute numbers in terms of what they're making, and they are going to get a big increase.
Credit where credit is due. Now, obviously, Adam Silver was prepared for this question, but I thought his choice of words was absolutely brilliant. He rejected the unreasonable demands of WNBA players without explicitly rejecting their demands. If you read between the lines here, what Adam Silver is basically saying is, we are going to give raises to these unknown complainers, but under no circumstances will we be offering revenue sharing. To be honest with you, they should be expressing their gratitude. They should be appreciative of the fact that the NBA has kept this dump alive. If it wasn't for me, Adam Silver, this league would be bankrupt. Like I said earlier, the WNBA Players Union, they sent out a tweet asking why Adam Silver is refusing to share. WNBA players are once again comparing themselves to the NBA. They're questioning why NBA players receive revenue sharing while WNBA players receive Ethiopian breadcrumbs. For those that don't know, revenue sharing is exactly what it sounds like. In the NBA, players receive 50% of the revenue that's generated by the league. That's why salaries have increased exponentially over the last 10 or so years. And it's also why you're about to see superstar players in the NBA with $90 to $100 million annual salaries. The NBA is in the first year of their new broadcast rights deal. Networks are paying $76 billion over the next 10 or 11 years for the rights to broadcast the NBA. We'll be talking about this today on the second channel and how NBC is already expecting to lose over $1 billion in their first year. WNBA players, they are pushing for the same thing. Once again, unknown WNBA players are demanding to be treated like the stars in the NBA. Of course, there is a huge difference between the WNBA and the NBA. The NBA has decades of profitability. The NBA is guaranteed to receive $76 billion over the next decade. But Casey, the WNBA has a broadcast deal too. They're receiving $2 billion. The only way that's possible is because the networks know the WNBA is filled with huge stars. I feel like a parrot because I have to constantly repeat this. The WNBA did not negotiate their broadcast deal with the networks. Matter of fact, they were complaining because Adam Silver refused to allow them to negotiate it. In order to keep the WNBA on television, Adam Silver included them in the NBA package. So this $2 billion they're receiving, it's basically another generous donation from the NBA. But either way, the WNBA is receiving $2 billion over the next decade. And look, no one is saying that WNBA players should not get more money. No one is saying they shouldn't receive increases to their minimum wage. The point of contention is how much. Problem for the league, for the first time ever, WNBA players have temporary leverage. For starters, they performed well in the ratings throughout the regular season and the playoffs without Caitlin Clark. But they also have unrivaled to fall back on. If next season's canceled, WNBA players won't have to work at TJ Maxx. Remember that doofus duo that was filming themselves on Twitch during All-Star Weekend as they were not allowed into nightclubs? What were they calling themselves? The Bud Studs? They were walking around downtown Indianapolis trying to get into WNBA parties, and bouncers, they wouldn't let them inside because they had no idea who in the hell they were. Let us in, sir. We play in the WNBA. Yeah, right. You have a mustache. The Bud Studs, they won't have to rely on Twitch donations this offseason because they'll be allowed to collect six figures in woke welfare from Unrivaled. I have been telling you guys since last year, the league is going on strike. WNBA players think they're worth this much, while the league thinks they should appreciate the fact that they still have a job. Seriously, Adam Silver, Cat Engelbert, they are trying to ensure that the WNBA stays alive. They are trying to make WNBA players understand we cannot afford to give you revenue sharing. If we do, and people quit watching pretend basketball, which isn't just a real possibility, it's likely to happen. If it does, you won't have to worry about revenue sharing because there won't be any revenue to share. But for some reason, WNBA players refuse to listen. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.